Oh, when it all falls down. I'm telling you, it all falls down. Dang, it's all gone to hell, y'all. It's all gone to hell. Whew. Welcome back, y'all, to the DeAndre Way. Thank you for joining me for this ninth episode recap of the Aaron Hernandez American Sports Story. Whew. Y'all, this episode, there was no jokes, there was no games, there was no laughs, there was no hee-haw, there was nothing going on. I tried to find a bright spot, but the only bright spot, I guess, is Aaron Hernandez finally can't get in any more trouble than he already is. At least that's what I think. But I guess that's not even true because there's still more things to come out. Because the preview for next episode, they interviewing Chris, the secret boyfriend. But in all reality, y'all, I feel bad for Shania. She's definitely having to sit between a rock and a hard place, and I wouldn't wish that upon anyone, especially a woman who has been down, who has been through it from the beginning, who has stood the test of time, and she stood strong. Behind every great man is an even stronger woman, or even behind every strong woman is a weak man in this case. It is crazy. I definitely this episode kind of it hurt. It was very sad to watch. Everything was crumbling. Kanye West, Selena Johnson style. If you know, you know. And it's just very unfortunate that this man just crashed out in, you know, a 10-lane highway, in the 10-lane freeway where he could go any direction. But the one direction he decided to go was off the cliff. But yes, y'all, we gonna get into this episode 9. Before we go into it, thank you for joining me as well once again. And I have a little special something to say at the end of the episode, so you might want to stay through this whole one if you haven't. I appreciate all y'all listeners coming through as well once again. But we gonna get into it, y'all. We start out June 26, 2013. Aaron is under arrest. It is wraps. He is got picked up from his house. His girl puts his white tee on him, and he is escorted out the building. The famous photo of Aaron Hernandez. I always wondered why his arms were not through his sleeves in that shirt. Always wondered that. Now I kind of see why. Maybe he just didn't have a shirt on, and she was like, "Let me just put a shirt on him." I don't know if that's really what happened, but I guess it makes sense because there's no other reason. Like, why would this man be walking around the house without his hands through his sleeves? Anywho, yes, they take him out. All the neighbors and whatnot are peeping, and there's paparazzi, and it's a media frenzy, media storm. Now, I remember this like it was yesterday. I was in college during this time and just watching this. It was summertime, you know? Uh, I think I was probably up in Mizzou, still summer school, and I saw this and it was just shocking. Like, wow, this NFL superstar, budding superstar, is going to jail. He's only 23 years old. Insane. But yes, Belichick and Kraft soon talk about what they should do about Hernandez. Kraft is like, we need to cut him. Just cut him right now. Just get rid of him. Belichick's like, wait now. We got to let's let everything play out. He might be innocent. Kraft's like, what are you talking about innocent? They making Belichick seem kind of like a really terrible person, just caring about winning and nothing else at all. I doubt that was Belichick's reaction to that, and I think that was a poor execution of what actually he probably demonstrated in that moment in time. I'm pretty sure they released him very, very soon, but like swiftly, and they got through the talks. But I doubt Belichick was like, "Oh, well, let's wait." No, Patriots do not play. If you get into any kind of trouble, they're gonna be done with you and ship you off to Buffalo, ship you off to Alaska, ship you off to the German semi-pro football team. Like they don't play in New England. They didn't play in New England. Now they playing games because they can't win a game. But beyond that, they get rid of Aaron Hernandez's things swiftly. His nameplate, his equipment, his personal items. They just get the trash bag on and gone. Like I said, they move quickly. They not sitting to wait and find out what happened in trial. Well, soon we see Cheyenne found, she was at home and her maid, I believe, or her help, Brittany, is taking pictures of their house because she sees it in a newspaper or on the news. I can't remember. Newspaper or the news. And she's like, how'd they get pictures inside the house? I believe it was a newspaper. How'd they get pictures inside the house? And she knows, like, oh, the only person that's been in here is you. So what are you doing? So she had to clap back her and Shania, like, look, she's having to deal with everything going down. I mean, her baby was, I believe, in that picture too. And so that's really foul. That's really foul. Kicking a man when he's down, but also getting the kids involved in this too. Like, leave the kids out of it. Leave the babies out of this. Terrible. If that really was happened and the baby was really in the paper, terrible. And shame on the housemaid and shame on the people who posted that too. Like, have some civil dignity about you, please. Like, we don't have much left in this world. You know, at least have a little dignity and some ground to stand on. So Shania soon goes back home to her mother's house, and her sister confronts her about the whole situation. Remember, Odin Lloyd was her sister's boyfriend, and yeah, I mean, imagine like your husband potentially killed your sister's boyfriend. That's pretty deep and steep. You know, ain't no mountain high enough, ain't got nothing on that steep hill. You know, Marvin Gaye gonna have to keep on climbing. And I just could not imagine the turmoil that Shania just had to deal with. I mean, she's getting pulled by her family. She's getting pulled by Aaron's family. She has a pretty young baby. And I really just, my heart broke for her. You know, my heart even breaks for her to this day because I went to her Instagram and I checked out her Instagram and she seems in good spirits. She still loves Aaron. She put some posts about him and she seems like she's doing all right. But man, from being stressed out about losing your house, you're not getting any more money, you have a baby to take care of, you have this, you have that, and the trial coming up, and honestly, like the embarrassment too. Whew, she definitely, man, she definitely was going through it, man. It's tough. So Aaron's brother is soon facing a little backlash as well. You know, the whole family. I mean, when you do something, that's the thing. Is like as an athlete, you represent not just yourself, but your family, your team, your friends. And so if you do anything, get arrested, make a fool of yourself, everyone is going to be looked at crazy if they're associated with you. That's why when bad things happen, people are quick to disassociate because they're not trying to take the pits and the falls for your misbehavior. Get arrested. People are going to look at your friend. Oh, that's your friend? That's your friend? You get, charged with something. Oh my gosh, like how could you be friends with somebody like that? And they're looking at you crazy. So I understand how people could just dissolve themselves from whoever gets in trouble, especially Aaron in this case. But it's so tough on them because you were once a highly regarded figure and now you're just a joke and soon to be even more. But yes, Cheyenne is confronted soon by the police about the box that she dumped, that she pretty much played coy about before. So she needs to fess up to what happened, but she's trying to figure out what the right thing to do is. She ain't trying to sell her man out completely because Aaron's family is pressuring her to kind of be on their side, but her family wants her to do quote unquote the right thing and tell the truth and what really went down because they want to see Aaron pay for his crimes. And soon we see Patrick Bloomfield, Aaron's agent, is Patrick Bloomfield is Aaron's agent, I believe. Yeah, and Cheyenne is she's about to fess up about what's going on and really just like let it all loose. But soon we hear that the settlement that he did with the NFL players about concussions. So NFL players is about the time they had a settlement with concussions. Like a couple few years later, it kind of finalized and everyone got paid from it. But it has to do with the Junior Seau killing himself, other NFL players retiring early, et cetera. A lot of things. This is when the NFL was high on like, okay, we need to control these concussions. And Cheyenne soon talks to Aaron's aunt, and they reflect a little bit about Aaron's upbringing and how his father was abusive and how bad he was. And we kind of get a flashback to a sense of kind of where we are now and where we came from. So that's the only, I guess, bright spot because they can kind of look back and remember the good times for what they were. And soon, Aaron Hernandez is talking with his mom, who came to visit with him in jail and who's on his side. She's like, "Look, honey, I'm here with you, this, that. If you need anything." I think his mother is honestly full of shit. I think that she is just coddling or placating to him because she wants his money too. And if he's not in the NFL, then she pretty much has nothing too. You know, she's essentially living vicariously through him at this point. And I think she's in it for selfish reasons based off the behavior that we've seen in this series before. Now, in real life, who knows? But from this series, I think that she definitely doesn't have very good motives on really caring about Aaron's innocence to the fact of more so for him, but rather just the things that he provided for her. That's just my take. That's just my take. And soon, Aaron's mom is shopping with Cheyenne, and she's questioning her on whose side are you on? Are you with us trying to help Aaron? Or are you against him and trying to frame him? Because if Shania, look, she has two options. She can either testify or not testify. If she testifies against Aaron, it's not good look for her with Aaron. You know, I mean, that's her essential husband at the end of the day. You know, they've been together for a long time, and she's kind of turning against him in that sense to a degree. That Aaron should stop being selfish and be like, look, keep her out of it. But he's not doing that. It's seeming like he just wants her to defend him. He's like, well, yeah, I've been there with you forever. Like, you gotta help me out. You gotta help me out. I'm like, Aaron, this dude is looking sad, going out sad, you know, putting his wife and kid in the middle of it. And she's telling him, like, look, like, I have a baby to deal with. I have these other things to deal with. This is not cool. So I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place. And he pretty much seems like he does not care at all about the situation that she's in. He's just worried about himself and the stupid situation that he got himself in. So it's definitely unfortunate to see that kind of go down with the aspect. And I hope that wasn't really kind of what he was saying, but it's making Aaron look like a real POS. And soon, Aaron, yeah, but she's questioning Shania when they're shopping, and was giving her ultimatum essentially. So Tanya, Aaron's aunt, is soon get under arrest. The police show up to her house for failure to respond to a grand jury subpoena 3 times. Wow. So the whole family's going down with everything, you know. And soon we see the car that Aaron hid after he shot those two dudes in Boston. They see it in the shed. So more pieces are unraveling, and that's a whole nother episode of what's going down. Um, and yeah, the whole car thing, like I can't believe she still kept it there. Like I think like dumb criminals, as I said in the past episodes, these criminals are not that smart. They're not the brightest. Common criminal just won't cover the tracks, you know. And Aaron Hernandez has got to be one of the worst criminals out there. Just saying, you know. But soon, yeah, they search the premises and they find the truck, and it was connected to the double murder, as I said. Aaron's agent soon comes to Boston to talk to Shania about what happened, about the truck, about everything, and she's kind of losing herself in the music at this point. She can't take it no more. She's caught up with everything, as I mentioned, and she's about to crash out herself. She soon comes to meet Aaron in prison, and he's pretty much gaslighting the hell out of her. He's like, you need to defend me. How could you even think of not being on my side? I've been there for you. I provided for this family. I'm like, wow, this dude is a trip. You know, a lot of things people do, a lot of people, this is a selfish world we live in. Selfish world. At the end of the day, a lot of people are in it for themselves. They don't care what happens ultimately to anyone else along the way as long as they get theirs. Now, with that being said, it's a travesty that, you know, this happened and whatnot. But as the old saying goes, if you do the crime, you got to do the time. Don't do the crime if you can't do the time. That's the saying. If you do the crime, do the time. But yes, he doesn't want to do this time for all these crimes he did. And unfortunately, if you shoot and kill people, that's probably the worst offense out there. One of the worst offenses. Taking a life away from someone and only getting upset when you get caught. I have no sympathy for you, my friend. I don't. I don't. It takes a lot to take someone's life. I mean, I wouldn't know. You know, I've been to a gun range and shot, but I couldn't imagine. I don't even like going hunting, really, like killing animals. You know, I was a little kid. The only thing I killed was like bugs. I accidentally killed my dog once, and I felt horrible. I left it out in the sun too long one summer day, and it died of heat stroke. It was my fault because we had it chained up. We had the thing stuck in the ground with the chain around it, and only can go a certain radius. And I killed my dog by accident. R.I.P. Diamond. I miss you. But I learned my lesson. Or was it Duke? It was Duke, I think. My dog Duke. It was a Rottweiler. It was a Rottweiler. Yeah, it was a Rottweiler. But yes, um, it's a travesty, and you know you do these crimes to people. You kill a person, you're gonna have to suffer the consequences. An intelligent being, you know. The animal was an accident, and nobody knows until this day. So you're welcome, y'all, for that tidbit. We move on, but it was an accident. Yes, and Aaron's denying that he did it to her, that he's did any crimes or anything like that. He's like, I didn't do it, I didn't do it. I was like, wow, this dude is a trip. And so court comes, and Shania sits on Aaron's family's side. She doesn't side with her own flesh and blood. That's crazy. I look. She's riding for her man. You know, she's riding hardcore. She's riding shotgun all day long, and I just hope that she didn't make the biggest mistake that she could have. But Aaron's homies are up there, Beavis and Butthead, as we've aforementioned earlier, who was with him when he killed Odin Lloyd, and they're snitching the hell out of him. They're like, look, I ain't going to jail for this fool. Snitch, 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 snitch. If you seen Empire, you a snitch. Tritch. Snitching ass trick. That was a good song. Top 10 of my playlist back in 2015. But yes, they going crazy, and they're not willing to take the fall for anything that he's doing. Some friends of his. So the Patriots, we see the Patriots. They win the Super Bowl without Aaron. You know, he kind of seem a little upset, like, oh, they're successful without him and whatnot. And it's soon time for Shania to take Shayana to take the stand, and she reveals that she took the box out and did not look inside the box. And she explains that she was just trying to keep everything together mentally and emotionally after she found out what happened, and she just didn't even think about looking in the box. She just did what she was told. Now that is what happened, as we may have seen. Now maybe she did look in this box. Who knows? This box is bigger than the box she was dealt in. Felt him, took him out to Lockseat, Belgium, which is this city that's seldom. Anyway, she did not look in the box, Roddy Rich style, and I feel like she would have had to. Like, who wouldn't look in a box that someone's like, just look, go past it, go take it out in the dumpster and throw it out. Like, I can't see anyone not looking in the box. I would, but she said she didn't, and she said she thought it was marijuana in the box. Marijuana. I hope the lawyer didn't tell her to say that, but not the best ploy. But she defends him. She stands up for her man, and she's 10 toes down, and she's standing with him, stand strong. And soon, her own mother confronts her in the bathroom, and Shania explains herself, and her mom says she'll pray for her. And that's pretty much if somebody says, I'm gonna pray for you, that means they're saying, you full of shit. I don't believe a word you're saying, and God's gonna come after you. That's basically what someone says when they said, I'm gonna pray for you, because they know that you just tripping all over the sidewalk, about to bust your lip. And that's tough. You know, her own mother saying that. So I don't know like her specific relationship with her family. Maybe it's good, maybe it's not. Who knows? But it's definitely she's has the worst case in anyone in this entire thing, because once both sides are depending on her, and there's only one person, so the rubber's got to give. You know, the rubber meets the road. So we soon find out at the end of the episode that Aaron gets charged with first degree murder. Yeah, that's the worst charge you can get if you don't know. Yeah, second degree, I believe, it could be like 30, 40 years in prison with option for parole. And if that was Aaron's case, he'd probably about 60 something, and then, an option for parole. But first degree, you ain't getting out. At least not in his case. Maybe some other people's cases. You know, the court system is crazy and messed up as it is, but he's definitely not getting out with no first degree murder charge. So after that gets handled, Shayana then goes and visits Aaron with their daughter for her second birthday. Now, this was the most sad scene in the whole series thus far. She gets up when they're visiting and goes to the bathroom. Well, they're celebrating her second birthday and they sing happy birthday to her through the window. Very sad because you see this child, like this child has a whole life ahead of her and she's watching her dad, enter his lifelong prison sentence. I feel for the little girl in this. No child should have to bear witness to that, but it's also the parents and adults' fault for putting themselves in that situation in the first place. Kind of similar to this P. Diddy situation, like P. Diddy, he's gonna have to do that same exact thing soon. Talk to his kids through a plexiglass and a phone for possibly the rest of his life. He has a very young child too. I believe she's like 2 or 3 years old. Very, very young. And it's eerily similar. Not that Aaron Hernandez was doing anything with baby oil, to my knowledge, and I don't know if P Diddy killed anyone. I don't know if that's a charge as of yet, though they haven't. The court case has not commenced, but it's just sad. It's just very, very sad, disheartening, and all the question is always what happens. Is there anything anybody could have done? Is there anything that could have been prevented this from happening? And sometimes people are their own worst demons in themselves. And unless we have that strong foundation, the good people around us, good influences, we're going to crash out. And that's exactly what happened. Aaron crashed out. P. Diddy crashed out. And now their families kind of have to pay the cost of the embarrassment, the shame, not being able to hold their head up, the jokes, the laughter coming from others, and just the sadness of it all. It's very, very, very sad. And at the end of the episode, Aaron has a very private moment with his daughter. They're just looking at each other, and you can see that he knows this is it, and this is his life. And he's going to have to watch his little girl grow up behind cold bars. Now it's the episode. Yes, very dramatic episode. Though, like I said before, the mood has changed completely. Did a whole 180. This entire series, it was goofy little parodies and gimmicks at the start of it, and now it's cold case files. you know. But yeah, yo, that was episode 9. And we are soon about to get to the finale episode next week. Y'all, we made it. Now, I'm going to try my best, but I'm going to try and go live after the episode. Now, it's late. The episode airs at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, which blows for me. So that means I'll be going to live at around 11. I'm going to try to. I'm going to try my best to give a live reaction of what just happened. I'm going to try and get some sleep that day. Going out of town that following weekend too to go to another surprise if you made it this far, the Tyson Jake Paul fight. I cannot wait. And I might try and go live after that fight too, but it would be on my phone going live, so we'll see. I'm working that out still, but yes, I'm gonna try and go live after next week's episode so we can get my full live reaction. I can hear what y'all got to say in the live comments and whatnot, so make sure to tune in 11 p.m., probably 11:05 Eastern time for the conclusion of this series. And so we all, if you know the story, you know what's bound to happen. But it's interesting to see how it's going to play out. We see our boy, what's his name? Sherrod come back in the game next episode. We see Chris come back in the game next episode. So very intriguing. And that will be the finale. And then we will move on to something else. I'll try and catch back up on the challenge, but the challenge has been, I always fall off in the middle of the challenge seasons, if you've been keeping on my challenge podcast. It's been tough with that being Tuesday nights, as being Wednesday nights, and then all the travels I've been doing. So apologies to those challenge fans out there. If you're watching this one, I'm going to try and get back onto it next week. But that's it, y'all, for episode 9. I appreciate you for joining me. And peace, blessings, deuces, and as always, have a great rest of your night.